Okay, your 10 minutes is up. Hopefully you've had some quality conversation about what feedback is and what feedback isn't. If you want to add to this definition, you are welcome to. Your own definition is equally as important as what the research says. It should help you think through what you will or won't do when you try to enact the ideas of quality feedback. Now moving forward, I'd like us to watch these 4 different videos. And as you listen, think about what you hear or see the people do within these videos that demonstrate components of feedback. So I've given you a list that kind of looks like a check sheet. And as we watch each of these videos, I'd like you to check off what component do you see. Even put some descriptive language next to it to tell us which video it comes from or who said or did what. So as we watch each of these videos, just take notes. We'll take brief breaks in between each video. They only last about 10 minutes or less, and we'll think through and debrief each of these. Are all of these quality models, or maybe some of them anti-models? We'll see.
Enjoyed that class. It is rambunctious, and I see why I'm not a ninth grade teacher. And so you're fit for the game. And so as I looked at your observation, you have your notes, and I will clean them up for you. But you wanted me to look at how do you make adjustments in the instruction during your teaching. Okay, so how did you feel did it go for you?
It was a typical class session. I know what I would aspire to do going into it, but I'm actually really eager to hear your response and look over the transcription here because, quite frankly, in the heat of the moment, it's kind of hard to tell if I'm actively modifying instruction. I don't even know. Frankly, if I really did, I need to see it through someone else's eyes to get a clear idea. So I feel like the class was fair enough, though.
Okay, and so what strategies do you felt that you did employ?
I brought my tracking chart with me so we can take a look at that and making use of that for acknowledging interaction and conversation with the student relating to the actual curriculum. However, as I mentioned earlier in the pre-observation conversation that we had, I was hoping to actually use the point system now as a ranking to the degree to which the student mastered the concept. And I realize now as I look back at it, I had neglected to do that, and I need to actually demand that I do that of myself and incorporate that in. Because here they either have 5s or check marks, but I didn't give any 1s or 2s for the ones that were almost there. I know there were a couple of students who couldn't get their 3 bits of supporting evidence, and yet I still managed to get them their full credit, the 5 for that. So I would like to make better use of the point system on the daily tracker.
Okay, so what I did see is that number one, you did meet your objective that you have for the day, that they highlight a prominent trait, a character trait, and provide support. So the students did do that. As you were going around and working with each of the students, what I observed is that your adjustments during the teaching time was individual. And so it was, especially our student, one of our focus students, was sitting towards the back of the class, that you knew his personality and you knew you were sensitive to the emotional part in order to meet the need of the academic part. And I think I had it, where is it back here? His name is, and I'm at number 32. Wherever you see number 32, here we go. Number 30, and first you went into the emotional part. How are you doing? And you could, as I looked at his body language, it was kind of this. And you pulled the conversation in close, and you stayed back there and you talked to him for probably about 45 seconds to a minute. And then when you left him, he was working. So that adjustment may not have to be total class, but the individual personalized adjustments for the students that you have concern with to help them master it.
Okay, so at this point we're not through the clip, we're about halfway, but I want to make sure you've selected at least 3 things that you've seen. So talk to your neighbor for just a minute. what 3 things could you have selected that you saw of quality feedback that this mentor and mentee were doing? What were the things that they were doing that you could select off? I could say at least 3 things were done and done well just in these first 5 minutes. So talk to your partner. I'll give you just about 1 minute.
Saw that. That was
Oops, wasn't quite a full minute. All right, so that being said, 3 things that you could have marked off would have been: 1, that the conversation was goal-oriented. We heard right at the beginning her say, based on your objectives. The next thing that we heard her do was talk about what she noticed, what specific things. So I could say marked off specific or the transparent part, because we knew exactly where the evidence was that built her feedback. She built her feedback on. Another thing that we saw was this active listening, and it really was occurring on both sides, both with the mentor and the mentee. Now, you could have selected other additional things, but I think minimally those things could have been selected as evidence of quality feedback, giving and receiving quality feedback. All right, let's continue on.
one of the ways in which you did it. And then those students who did not completely have all 3, they may have 2 or 1. No one had 1. Everyone had 2. They were just fighting with that one more. And the way that not only did you have the atmosphere where you were the teacher, but you also had the student, you created a learning community and help and have the students and their peers help them master. So the thing of the adjustment doesn't have to just land on you, but that you help have the community that be part of that, helping to have everyone be at not at 2. The goal was 3, and to have everyone help everyone to meet the goal. You did interact with every student, be it just how you do it, but you did interact with each student. And what I also liked is how they were excited about shifting to the reading, and you saw the tenor of the class change. And so and the way you managed your time by putting those timelines on them, and then as I had the clock going, I was watching your time, and you were being pretty true to
Was
the
I?
time.
Because honestly,
Oh, yes.
sometimes I'll arbitrarily throw out numbers, and they think I selected 3 for a reason. But the deadliest thing in the class I've learned is like 5 seconds of unused airtime, which can go.
Because when you were still giving personal time to the one student, you could hear the volume of the room let you indicate it to you who the rest were, and then making that kind of adjustment. So what I would suggest is that when you have those times where you're hearing the volume, have a 1 more step just to keep them busy, even though that may have not been your ultimate, may not have been your objective, but a 1 more step just in case that you see that they can take it even a step further, they can do more versus than what you have planned. Okay?
Actually, something I mentioned one of my concerns.
Okay, so we could watch the rest of this video, but I think you get the idea that this feedback session actually contains a majority of our components that we've talked about. She continues to go deeper and deeper, taking each thing that she noticed back to the goal or the objective that the mentee wants, and she takes it forward, and you'll see this in just a little bit. She takes it forward to, so now what's actionable? What can I do about it? And that again comes back to a collaborative conversation. What do we do about it? Because feedback is really not just about stating what you observe, but giving opportunity for what can happen next. What's the action that can happen next based on this information that they're getting? How do we reach the goal? So this was, if you haven't figured it out, a model. But as we move forward, we're going to look at some anti-models also. I think we can equally learn from those. So you have a choice right now. Either you can use the link to access the rest of this video. There's about 4 minutes left in it. Or we can move on to the next one. And you'll again have to decide model or anti-model. So again, before we watch this video, I'd like you to go through, listen intentionally for, are you hearing the 7 components of effective feedback? Which ones are you hearing? How are they stated? How else could they have been stated to be more effective? What's missing from this feedback session? And again, you're looking at both the mentor and the mentee. It's about the interaction between the two. It's not one person doing all of the work or one person only buying in. It's the interaction between the two of them that make all the difference. So as we watch this video, take notes. We may or may not pause in between, but by the end, you should be able to tell me, is this a model, an anti-model? What components are shown or not shown in this video?